This is Ken before kids. Then Ken had kids. He had a lot of kids, 5 kids, 3 grandkids, 2 great-grandchildren. When Ken married Walapa, he inherited 3 mostly grown sons, who then gave them 6 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild, Cleo, who Ken adored. Ken passed peacefully at the age of 92, and by all accounts, he passed without ever having changed a single diaper. Had the escrow closed on the South Pass house in a timely manner, I'm not sure we would have gotten the tree house. As it was, the delay forced us to move in with Grandma and Grandpa. And Rick was already enrolled in Lincoln School, so someone had to drive him over every morning. Dad got permission. He had some time off, so he got permission to build the treehouse even before we owned the property. He and I went and got inner tubes at a gas station, old inner tubes from the tires, and Dad cut them up and he put them in between any place where the wood on the treehouse was going to touch the oak tree. And when I asked him why, he said that was to protect the oak tree from getting cut or hurt when the wind blew, which was pretty cool. He also said that if he ever saw anyone carve initials into the tree, he would take it down. He also told me that the treehouse wasn't just for us, it was for everybody. Anyone and everyone could play in the treehouse. And that happened. Kids came from all over. Neighboring cities kids came. It was legendary. It was a good treehouse. Dad dreamed all kinds of great swings, the pulley swing, the Tarzan swing, little swings, big swings. It was a great treehouse. Oddly, I feel like no one benefited from the treehouse more than Mom. She'd say, "Go play outside." We'd be like, "Sure, okay, bye-bye." And play we did. The thing was, at times there were kids down there who weren't nice, and there was no parent supervision, and we just had to take care of it ourselves. Just go home. You need to go right now. Sleeping in the tree was the best. In the summertime, one or another or combination of us would have our friends and sleep out in the tree house, tell stories, listen to owls, and at some point, my friends, whoever was there, they would fall asleep. And then it would just be she and I, the tree and I, and she would come alive. And those were the best times. We got moved in, the tree fort was built, and Dad was off to support us. His jobs often included travel. And that left us as wild things with the coolest tree fort, which generated community, it generated imagination, physical strength, respect for nature, just magic, pure magic. And it was a great gift that he gave us that I value deeply. Mom wanted to have company one year for Thanksgiving, and so Dad built a huge table. It was a beautiful table. It was elegant in its simplicity. A church pew was added to the backside and chairs all around so we could have a lot of people. We had great dinners there. Dad was raised Baptist, so a lot of times we would do the thank you, Jesus prayer at dinner, and then other times we would do 3 rolling ohms, which was fun, and I think bewildered our friends. While Dad read the newspaper pretty much every day and Time magazine every week, it was Mom who read books, and he built her bookshelves on either side of the fireplace because it was space not being used. She quickly filled it up. I don't really remember Dad having a favorite book, except maybe the one he told us all we had to have and he took with him everywhere. The Thomas Brothers map book. Dad had this savant way of thumbing through that thing, flying down the highway at 80 miles an hour, navigating from page to page. All those little pointy red corners would be a whole nother page. And Dad could remember what he saw and then clock it and get us to where he was going. Then the world changed. GPS had arrived and Dad was one of the first to have it. He named her BB. And she was probably the first woman he actually listened to and followed directions, although with some attitude, as BB was short for bitch in a box. Dad would tell the story of being out with his friends as a teenager and finding the Pasadena Freeway or the Arroyo Parkway and how magical it was. And they drove from one end to the other, and then they turned around and they did it again. And I almost feel like it was no coincidence that the house they found in South Pass, you just go right down the hill and there you'd be at the Pasadena Freeway. One great thing for Dad about taking the Pasadena Freeway down into LA was the tangle of freeways that awaited him. You could go anywhere. Dad decided we should all get in a motorhome and go down to the tip of Baja. Super fun fact, it is as far from the Tijuana border to the tip of Baja as it is from Tijuana to the Oregon border. Only a few more potholes. We arrived, it was beautiful. We spent the day. We got up the next morning and Dad was like, "This is great, let's go." Yeah, that was a little annoying. It was such a thing with Dad. He would get you to the most amazing places and you'd stand there and be filled with wonder and the blood would start to come rushing back into your butt. And you'd be like, "Ooh, ah, amazing." And then he'd say it, "This is great, let's go." And Dad wasn't wrong. I mean, his timing might have been batshit, but he wasn't wrong. This is great. This is great. We should all go. We should all go have adventures, fall in love, find our passion, enjoy meals with friends. We should all go. This is great. Thanks, Kim.